All right, so check this out. I'm going to start with a little bit of journey about how I got into IoT, how I got into retail, and there's not necessarily too much about the why here, is that I like to say my entire life over the past few years hasn't necessarily been on purpose, but it hasn't been an accident. So you'll see what I mean as we start getting into it. So about 3.5, 4.5, oh my gosh, time is flying. So about 5 years ago, my wife and I are walking down Cherry Creek River, the little walkway down by Spear Boulevard. I'm doing skunk works for a few big companies, software, mobile development. My wife works as a digital producer at an agency downtown Denver. And so we're walking down the path, and my wife turns to me and she says, "You know what, Tay? After seeing how much you like technology, decided I don't really like technology that much. I want to do something different." And I was like, cool, there's lots of things that aren't technology that are feasible for millennials to do, right? So what do you want to do? And she says, "I want to open a boutique." And I said, "Oh no." So we did all the things that you're supposed to do. We drew up a business plan, never doing that again. We went to the banks, we took the business plan to the banks. We said, "Look at this, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be a men's head-to-toe boutique. We're going to have barbers, we're going to have stylists. You're going to be able to come in, you're going to be able to get a beer. We're going to personalize the experience. We're going to hand you a beer, you're going to come in, you're going to get a shave. While you're getting a shave, someone's going to be picking out clothes for you. And then when you're done with your shave and your haircut, you're going to go try on some clothes, having a beer in the dressing room. And then after that, we got an on-staff photographer who's going to come and take the best headshots you're ever going to get. This is going to be awesome." And I remember telling this to my mom, and my mom said, "Tay, what the hell do you know about retail?" And I was like, "Thanks, Mom." So the bank looked at the business plan and said, "This is really neat. If you could bring 2 to 3 years of revenue, we'd give you a loan." I was like, hold on a second. I thought a loan was for people who needed money, not people who have money. So either the bank is wrong about how loans work, or I'm wrong about how loans work, and I'm a millennial, so it's the bank's fault. So we ended up selling our house, maxing our credit cards, about $100,000 short of what we thought we needed. And so we said, all right, let's throw all the pieces of this idea off a cliff, jump off with it, and see if we can get to fly before it hits the ground. AKA entrepreneurship, am I right? So we did it. We opened actually a few months early and began a journey of what was one of the most incredible experiences of my life. Because as a software engineer, and Carolyn touched on this, the value of immersion in your problem. Picture this, you're a software engineer, you're fully off the cliff financially. You have no choice but to make this work. You bet your ass you're going to build some good software. Or you're not, and I wouldn't be giving this talk. So we built piece by piece. I was physically greeting people when they walked in. Actually debugging with guests in the waiting area. Working out of the basement of the shop, building bit by bit, piece by piece, and I'm going to take you through some of the cooler things. This actual talk is about 1.5 hours, 2 hours, and is best experienced at the shop, where you can see all this live, test it, try it, see how it impacts the guest journey and the experience that you have when you go there. Well, then out of nowhere, Techstars sends out an application, and they say it's the first ever retail accelerator in partnership with Target out of Minneapolis, running out of their headquarters, Target's new innovation headquarters, downtown Minneapolis. And I was like, cool. And when I filled out the form and submitted it, now, here's what's interesting. Has anybody here been in an accelerator, a startup accelerator? So I'd love to hear how your experience was getting in. From what I understand, it's generally you're either invited, because you are way cooler than I am, or you submit an application, you go 3 to 5 interviews, they make a decision. We actually went through 15 interviews, because at the time, we had no product, we had no business plan anymore that was relevant, and so I get on with the managing directors of Techstars, his team, and I'm going to show you the video that we sent them to get into the program. But at the time, it was our first interview, The managing director, Ryan, he looks at me and he's like, Tay, this is really cool what you built. Question, are you a retail company or are you a technology company? And I was like, yes. Because it really, a good experience, there's no difference. There's no, if you want to count technology as its own thing, then I should count electricity as its own thing, as the furniture is their own thing, as the walls, the bricks, the mortar, everything is its own thing. The technology is a piece of it, but guess what? It also doesn't work without awesome human beings. All of these are part of it. And he's like, I have no idea what you just said. Do you have a business plan? And I was like, no. And he goes, okay, that's fine. What do you think you're going to be doing in 5 years? I said, look, if you'd asked me 5 years ago that I'd be talking to one of the premier startup accelerators that's partnering with one of the premier retailers in this country about my wife's boutique, I would have said you were crazy and to leave me alone. So I'm going to do everybody a favor. I'm just going to say I have no idea what's in 5 years. Not a clue. One of our guests at Spruce put it perfectly. He said, so what you're telling me is you did everything the opposite of what you're supposed to do to get into an accelerator. And I was like, yes. Because here's what's interesting. The final phone call had all the execs at Target, the managing director at Techstars. You go in, you do a phone call, they play this video, that I'm going to play in a second, then you have 2 minutes, 3 minutes to talk about your team and the product and all this stuff, and I was like, ah. So I played the video that I'm going to show. Afterwards, the Target executives were like, what? What? Afterwards, come to find out, Target did not want us in the accelerator. Techstars did. Target was like, no, they don't have a plan. They have no like direction. They don't know where they're going. It's never going to work. Target was like, or Techstars was like, yeah, that's what we like. That's what we like. Turns out that I'll get into it. So one of the pieces of filling out the form for the accelerator was sent a 60-second video of your product. Have it cover the product, the vision, the traction, the team. I can't do any of those things, but what I can do is try. So I'm going to try to turn this up. You guys let me know if you can't hear it.
Hey guys, I know you said 1 minute product video. The problem is we have the entire retail ecosystem. Starts our internet connected sign. Anytime someone books an appointment, there's a little light show. We have our pedestrian tracker. This allows me to draw lines over live video feeds. It's like the first down line in a football game. Anybody crosses the line gets talent. It's to track people as they come into the shop so we can see the ROI on our physical signage. Right. We've got our internet connected menu services. The blue LEDs next to each service is the real-time wait time. Right. We've got our totally custom-built shoe display with an integrated touch screen. Tap on the shoe that you want, name, vendor, price, size and quantity in stock. Tap the size that you want. Would you like some to bring you a size 10 to try on? And it will be done. Everybody then gets a notification on their phone with all the details of the shoe so they can run and grab it for you. We have our missed appointment button. Anytime someone comes in to book an appointment, but we don't have enough people staffed, you hit the button. Then in the back end, we scatter plot that. Now we can get an idea of the days where we're missing the most business.
I'm on the phone. It's dead silent. The executives at Target, the managing director of Techstars, dead silent after this. And their director of innovation on the phone goes, so, what's your product? And I was like, dude, you know what I know at this point. We're about on the same level here. I'm kind of looking for your insight on what the hell I should do with all this. Long story short, we got into the program as the boutique, the first ever boutique-only company to go through a technology accelerator. And then we also, by the end of the program, split into 2 companies. And now we have Spruce Labs, the software company, and Spruce, the retailer. I am the CEO of the software company, my wife of the retailer. We have a 2-year-old daughter, so the sitcom of our lives is 2 companies and a baby. It's way better in reruns, I imagine. So the first thing I wanted to do, because I don't think about things in proper priority, was I want an awesome sign. I told you my priorities are all messed up. I was like, but what I want is a sign that is so big you can see it down the block. What I want is a sign so during the day you see the hand sketch aspect of our logo, but at night you only see the letters that come out, and I want it to light up during the night, and I want it to do a light show when someone books an appointment. And I sent a Photoshop document to Denver Sign Company and said, "This is the sign I want." To which they responded, "What the hell is this? Is this a PSD? Do you know anything about signs?" I said, "Obviously not if I'm sending you a PSD." They said, "Look, we'll design a sign for you." So I did what every mature millennial does and went, "No, I'll do it myself." Went, gathered a bunch of friends, no joke, went on to Fiverr. You guys heard of Fiverr? You go on the multiple Fiverr, we're like, okay, we need somebody to take our Illustrator file and turn it into something a plasma cutter could use. And we sent it off and paid 20 bucks and got it back, and it was crap. But it gave one of the guys that was helping him out, a gentleman named Naylor, all he needed to know to finish. So he went, converted it to a file that a plasma cutter could use. We went to Denco down here on I-70, got it cut. We actually went to Denver Sign Company for the vinyl that wrapped over top. You guys heard of Adafruit? There better be a lot of nods yes in an IoT web talk. Adafruit, ADA Fruit. Almost everything here was purchased off Adafruit.com. It is the IoT maker's funhouse. You must go and you must buy many things. So we set it up. It's got I guess, was it plexi around each in the letters so you can see through them. It's got LEDs wrapping each section. The LEDs that are measured in pixels per foot, because for some reason lights per foot isn't as cool to say. So the initial strand that we got was 32 pixels per foot. So we spent all this time getting it set up, getting it built, turned it on our opening night, and it was so underwhelming. I asked them to turn it off. I was like, "We gotta turn this, it's not gonna work." Then we went and bought 144 pixel per foot LEDs, because I wanted that thing visible down the block. Powered by one Raspberry Pi, running Node.js. Oh, and secret, almost everything here that's been animated is done using a DOM animation library called Tween.js. That's crazy, right? I'll get into some more about how we're using, literally, libraries built for DOM animation to animate lights, especially in our dressing room, which I'll get to, just relax. You see me booking an appointment, that's Angular with a Node.js background. That emitted an event through Socket.io. Everything in the shop responds. Light does a little light show here, and even though I built or was part of building every piece of this, I always look at it and go, how the fuck did they do that? And here's what's really cool. That animation, we call it Rainbow, is actually a demo function that everything from Adafruit that does lights ships with. They ship with their samples. One of them's called Rainbow, so I was like, I'm just gonna rainbow everything when someone books an appointment. So our buttons, our lights, the lights on the front of the house, everything lights up when someone books an appointment now. And it's awesome because I only had to call the function that came with the demo script for all the lights. Okay, you guys saw this, so check it out. We're very much a mentor-driven organization. I think Carolyn can attest to that. We're always looking for people who've done what we've done to guide us, because learning as you go is fun-ish. But having someone who's been there is way more fun because you can move way faster. So I was up at 1 Million Cups in Boulder, and I gave a presentation, right? We're still trying to figure out who we are. We're still trying, and so after the presentation, one of the gentlemen there was like, wow, this is really cool. You should sell the shop and build the tech. This was before Techstars, I think. Wasn't it, Kyle? Yeah, this was before Techstars. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm not going to tell my wife that. So it was super interesting. He starts asking these questions. He's like, what's your schedule? When do you open? How is your utilization? And I was able to answer a lot of his questions. And then he asked a question. He goes, what days do you open? We said, every day but Monday. And he said, why? And I said, because the person next to us is closed on Monday. The person next to them is closed on Monday. I have no idea. He's like, well, have you measured foot traffic? And I was like, you stop it with these good ideas. Open computer vision, open CV. Now this is before TensorFlow and a lot of these neural convolutional networks started getting into human detection, which we've got to rebuild it using a neural network because it'd be way better than open computer vision is the way that it's built. So check this out, Raspberry Pi, Python script, take open computer vision library, just compiled it for the Pi. It gives me a function where I pass the image like in base 64 or something, and it spits back rectangles for the human figure. And then I take those rectangles, compare it to a previous rectangle to make a prediction. Is this the same person with a nice threshold for variance? And then I made it so you can draw lines over the video feed, like the first down line in a football game. But check this out, the collision detection on these lines, I pulled out of a collision detection library from a 2D gaming engine on Python. I just took out their collision detection library, I can pass it polygons, and it tells me if they're colliding. I didn't have to do anything. Just call it, get back, it's a hit or not. So there's a lot of this, these things exist on so many levels that our job in a lot of ways building this is to build the experience, not the technology, if that makes sense. It'll probably get to make more and more sense as we go. Like, I'm not going to win an award by writing the best tweening library between one color to the next color. I won't, but guess what? I put it in my dressing room. The dressing room does a lot of cool lighting shit. All of a sudden, we're on the news, dancing in a dressing room. It's an embarrassing story. I'll tell you about that. So this is me at home on the computer with my wife on the phone with me, and I'm going, keep moving, keep moving, keep moving, keep moving. All right, you're out of frame. No, yes, no, too far, too far. Okay, come back. Yeah, just keep going. And she goes, there's people coming. And I was like, yeah, sample data, yeah. So you see detection, bam, depending on the order that it hits the lines, I can tell if you're going north or south, east or west, in or out. You give the lines label. The lines labels, it's fully configurable. You can see it counting, and then look, sample data. Oh, it got really messy, right? That's open computer vision. There's 50,000 things to manipulate and change to go better. I don't know jack about it, so I got close enough. And so here's what's really cool, is that the team turned this towards the front door, and then drew the lines. We drew the lines vertically, so we could see who's coming in, who's coming out. And then we tied with integration to our point of sale. We got a conversion rate. Number of people purchased divided by number of people entered. You know how on a website you tweak your conversion rate by changing the color of buttons, the placement of buttons and imagery? In a physical world, you change your greeting, you change your merchandising, you change your products. So we're taking the same analytics that you get from a website, instead of moving pixels, we're moving atoms, we're moving people. And it is an incredible thing to watch. Now, the Raspberry Pi has died since, so we gotta go get it back up and running, and I really want to do it with TensorFlow, so I'm gonna throw this out. I throw it out every talk. If anybody wants to participate in some fun hobby stuff, that'll be part of demos and part of presentations. Talk to me after this talk, because seriously, there's so many awesome hobby fun projects to do here that I would rather give someone the opportunity to learn and not feel the pressure of delivering, though maybe a little bit of pressure of delivering, and then get to show it off by bringing people in and pointing to it and go, I built this. So if that's something that interests you, it sounds like a lot of fun, talk to me after. I've thrown this out 15 times. I've had one taker, and he wasn't able to get the sign changes that we needed in. So the challenge is open. Boom. Do you even MVP, bro? So you can't read it because it's many screens. Sticky. Do you guys heard of? Well, this is just sticky Velcro. This is sticky Velcro. We Velcroed the damn thing to the ceiling here, and guess what? It worked for a while, and then we had to get Terry to come screw it in with screws and things. I don't know. I'm not good at that world. I'd say I'm way better in the digital world than the physical world. You guys saw this. This is another one of those, not on purpose, but not an accident. So we're open. People are coming in. People are asking, what are they asking if you're a service-based business, specifically a barbershop or a salon? Hey, what's the wait time? Didn't even occur to me that's what people were going to ask. Didn't even. If you look at any of our old videos, any of our old anything, this wall is just empty. So we're like, okay. So we contracted out a sign designer who's a friend of ours. She got 50% the way done. And I was like, no, this is not the direction I think we should go. And this is the hardest thing, right? A friend who's good, but also taking some of the wrong direction. So I had to say, hey, look, keep the deposit. We gotta scrap this, we gotta start over. Brought in someone who was specifically a chalk artist who has a very, very tech-heavy background. And I said, look, what if we punch all the holes in this and all these LEDs tell the real-time wait time? He's like, that sounds awesome. So we banged out the sign. Now it's hard to tell from here because the screen's like between 50 and 300 feet away. I'm not good at physical. I told you I'm not good outside of digital world. So it's in the building at least. And if you see, like for instance, the numbers on the left, by the regular, tough to see, 2350 57. That's the wait time in minutes. So our first release of this, we did the wait time in minutes, because I was like, oh, we're gonna have a 30-minute wait time, a 45-minute wait time is gonna be perfect. And then we got to 2,300-minute wait time, and people were like, well, how long is that? And I was like, I don't know. I'm not a mathematician. Is it divided by 60? Quick, do the math. So we thought, okay, I got an idea. We're gonna change it to hours, minutes. You don't get that, right? You don't totally get that. So we changed it to hour, minutes, and people were like, so your next available appointment's at 1,400 hours? No, it's 14 hours. 2 Raspberry Pis on the back of this. We started off with Arduinos. The Arduinos at the time had a bug in their Wi-Fi shield, the CC300 3000 Wi-Fi shield. Threw the Arduinos in the trash because I'm not going to win an award by fixing the Wi-Fi on an Arduino. So swapped it out with 2 Raspberry Pis. These are running now Python scripts that interface with Socket.io. And then when every few minutes it'll do a ping and a check. But when someone books an appointment, the did book event emits. And so these all update in real time. But this didn't work. I know a few people who use military time, and I hate both of them. So we're like, okay, we're gonna fix this. We're gonna go hours, H, which for you guys, H, minutes. So we looked at the documentation for the Adafruit LEDs. There's no H. So, all right, our head of DevOps, we call him the head of pit crew, he lives in Michigan. And so he terminals in, gets down into the library that is the interface for these lights, and there's bit masks for everything it can do. And so he just goes in, starts flipping bits from Michigan. And every time I have to test it, he's got to reboot it. I take a cell phone shot of it and send it back to him. So I have full documentation of the entire trip. We went on over the course of about an hour with me in the shop, middle of the night, no one there, taking a picture of the sign, texting it to him. Okay, now check again. Taking another picture, texting it to him. So he said, all right, let's try it. So first mission, it just says 14. Let's just get the other crap out of there. Let's just start there. Like, start small, right? Break it into chunks. So close! So close! He's like, I get it. And I was like, yeah, it depends on your perspective. He's like, okay, check now. Oh no! And I can see, you can kind of see these segments, a 7-segment LEDs, what it's going to see him. He's figuring out these segments. He's like, how about now? Ah! No. Then, bam, he got it. Woo! So then we had to figure out minutes. So we dropped in minutes. Who here, question, and I need you to be honest, who here zero pads their minutes when writing them down? I'll be there in 0.5 minutes. I'll be there in 0.05 minutes. You don't zero pad your numbers. You don't say I'll be there at, so remove the zero pad. 8 hours, 8 minutes. This is how it's been for the past year. Everybody gets it. It took like a year to get here though, because for some reason or another, we just took a really long time to start incorporating feedback, probably because there was a business to run and a lot of other things going on. But we really got this to the point after a year of iterations, which could have been done in a night had anybody been dedicated to it, which is what I'm saying, talk to me after the show if you want to come and build some fun stuff. But we nailed it, and no one's asked questions ever since. And there it is with 2-digit minutes. Now here's what's funny. We broke from process. What that meant is Ryan went and edited the scripts right on the device. We had it auto-pulling from a post commit on GitHub. You see where I'm going with this? Went and made a change following our process, clobbered the changes he made on the device, follow process. It's mostly for me, I'm saying that for me. I mess that up a lot. So we had to go back in and revert some of the code. It was like a smack your forehead situation. But think about that. Raspberry Pis, powering a sign, auto-update from post commits on GitHub. Bam! Makes it really easy and fun to go and do updates and get this thing how you want it. You guys saw this button? So check this out. Another example of don't reinvent the wheel. So one of the questions one of our early advisor asked, besides like, why are you closed on Mondays? Which, by the way, the findings were that the street traffic is on Mondays, and that the cumulative effect of a lot of businesses being closed is that the streets aren't busy. Now he asked, well, how many times are you turning people away? Do you know when your busiest times are? I was like, man, you got a lot of good questions. I thought, what if we do this? What if we take a button, we connect it to the internet, and then when someone comes in to get a haircut, and the wait time's too long, we need to turn them away, we can hit that button, and we can track it. I was like, guys, we've built a sign, we've built these lights, we've built this mini board. Next mission, internet connected button. And someone in the Slack, or we were Skype at the time, I don't know if you remember Skype, so that dates me here. We were on, it was post MySpace, pre-Slack. It was kind of like the way, the epoch we were in. So I'm like, let's do this, we're gonna do this. It should be really easy, and we're gonna do a button. And someone in the Skype channel goes, well, have you done a search for internet button on Google? No. Turns out there is a button called the internet button from a company called Proto.io. I forgot what they used to be called. They have a web-based IDE. It's super weird. I prefer to be right on a device. Like, the more layers you put between me and the thing I'm trying to accomplish, there's more people for me to yell at when I'm trying to get things done. Went right into the IDE, hooked this up with Socket.io, so it does a light show when someone books, rainbow, and then when you press the button, it emits an event back to the platform, scatter plots it, tracks it, and now we have intelligent scheduling. And it costs us $99. Well, $180 some, $90 some because we got a second one. We put it in the back office, and then we integrated it with Vonage. So if you call in, Brian, and I hit that button, Spruce goes, hey man, Brian couldn't get an appointment. It's like his second time trying to book. You should do something for him. Oh, you're right, I should. Personalizing even turnaways, turning a bad circumstance into a good one simply by how we take in the data and adjust our behavior for it. And this is all JavaScript, I think, on their web IDE. There it is, missed appointment times. The bigger the dot, the worse we are at staffing. And one of the strategies, too, is to take a report like this to the bank. Be like, remember when you didn't give us a loan? Well, now look at all the people I'm turning away these days of the week. I need more space. We're not there yet, but like that was the plan. It's still the plan. It's in progress, we'll say. The dressing room. So this might also date me a little bit, or put into perspective my era. You guys familiar with Smells Like Teen Spirit? You know, like Kurt Cobain and the gang really hated, that was like their song, but they hated it because it's like, we did better songs than this. Why is this the song? This is not the song I want to be performing. This is my Smells Like Teen Spirit. It's a dressing room where you swipe and the lights in it, the same lights in the sign, transition between the colors that map to the photos on the iPad. And this one is super interesting because we have the high density LED strip that you see there. It's 144 pixels. It's connected through Wi-Fi to a Raspberry Pi in the basement. Raspberry Pi in the basement is wired back up to the lights. We also have a Philip Hughes connected light bulb. So here's what's fun, is you swipe, it emits an event, the Raspberry Pi knows where you were, where you're going, uses tween.js to create a tween of a certain duration with some easing, right? Because we're arrogant hipsters and it can't just be linear. But here's the catch. The Philip Hughes tweened itself. So when I tried to animate by sending it all the colors in between two colors, the Philip Hughes was like, I don't know what I'm doing. So I actually have a big ass if statement in my code, I know, for the Philip Hughes to say, just give it the final color. And we'll animate there. But then it even gets worse. The Philip Hughes will ignore commands while tweening. So then I had to do timeouts and it sucked. It's like they wanted to be developer friendly, but they did it in a way that meant anybody who wants a little bit more is kind of stuck. But it turns out these Philip Hughes light bulbs are buggy as hell. So like randomly the light will go to 25% brightness and I have to unscrew the bulb, screw it back in. It's back! It's like restarting your light bulb. Welcome to the future. Also in the future, your signs need debugging. It's a crazy world. So what's really cool though, you get to this last slide with the dance club, and we go into what we have affectionately called party mode. And so what I do is I take an array of colors, RGBs, put them into an array, push, pop, push. That's it. You guys are familiar with these terms. Thing goes nuts and lights and bounces and people dance. And so one day we were getting interviewed by Fox 31 and the editor from Denver Style Magazine, Heather Okamoto, was coming in. And so I'm standing in front of the shop. I'm so excited. It's early press, right? Press is the only marketing we can afford. And they're walking up and it's Dan Giroux, crazy dude. Shake his hand, shake Heather's hand. I'm like, I'm so excited. Heather goes, wait, I need to show him the dressing room. And grabs him and walks by and leaves me out front like, well, you guys go in the dressing room then. Do you need anything to drink? It is absolutely an example of you don't pick what works, but you go with it. So excited for this one. We have to try this year. Took the Christmas lights, connected them to light show, I believe. So the lights dance with music. Connected it to the appointment system. Had it play Eye of the Tiger when someone booked an appointment. I didn't catch that on video, but I do have a demo that we made here. Like the big speakers blasting out into the street. Sorry, neighbors. So it was really tough, actually. So picture a relay that just turns on and off power, right? And then a 2x4 that our guy Steven bolted on a bunch of power outlets to. So 9 power outlets, each of them tied to a different frequency of sound. We can plug anything into those to get them to dance. It's in the basement of the shop. We just got to do it. Yeah, it's going to happen. Again, if you want to come nerd out on fun projects, talk to me after. There's more than we can actually accomplish. Here's a fun one. This iPad is an example of starting with observations of behavior, of movement, of activity, and then building technology into it in a way that just works. Now, funny doesn't work as well anymore because behavior's changed a lot and then we haven't been in to go observe again. This tells us who's in a chair, who's about to come in, who's connected to the Wi-Fi. When I tap on anybody, I get their notes. So I can pick up conversations where we left off. A gentleman was sitting, was it Sam sitting in, it wasn't Sam, it wasn't from this photo, so I think it was Jim was sitting in Olivia's chair. And so every now and again I would walk up, and the reason why, I guess, before I get into that, why it's where it is this is on the side of the checkout stand. And so what would happen is when the team was just hanging out waiting for guests to arrive, the team would be like this on the checkout stand, and by putting the iPad right there, they could go and then greet someone by name. The most incredible thing when you walk into a store and they ask, well, how was your last trip? How are you doing? How's your kid? How was deep frying a turkey that Thanksgiving? Because it was Jim in Olivia's chair, and I tapped the note and it said deep frying a turkey, because we teach our team to take the notes they need to take to do their job, but then take notes that we need to take so I can do mine, which is help with the guest experience. So I tap it, pops up, says deep frying a turkey for Thanksgiving. So I'm like, ooh. Walked up to him, leaned in, I say, Jim, so Olivia tells me your goal this Thanksgiving is to burn your house down. He's like, what? I was like, deep frying a turkey? I back away, an entire conversation erupts about people who've burnt their houses down deep frying turkeys. You came at the perfect time in this talk. So one day I'm walking down where the shop, the way it's oriented is half retail, half barbershop, so half services, half retail. I'm walking down, a gentleman gets out of a chair and he says, hey Tay, he's like, I really like Spruce. I was like, cool man. So have you guys heard of, was a Minnesota goodbye? A Minnesota goodbye is when you're too polite to say goodbye, so you say bye 500 times and can't just end the conversation. I'm really good or bad at those depending on your goals in life. So I read a piece that said how to help with Minnesota goodbyes is let them talk, respond, engage, then say with finality, oh, that was great, awesome, handshake, leave. It's like, I got this, I need to practice this, because otherwise I'll just keep going, I have a problem. I'm walking down, gentleman named Mansoor follows behind me, he says, hey Tay, and I say, hey, what's up? He goes, you know, Spruce is really cool, and I'm like, awesome, dude, see ya. And he goes, but also, okay, I was really thinking about like just the stuff that you built and everything, and it's just amazing. Awesome, thank you. And I was thinking, and he goes, do you just want to go get coffee? I was like, okay, yeah, we should probably just go get coffee, because like, I'm trying to get better at this whole Minnesota Goodbye thing, and you're messing it up big time. So we go and we get coffee, and we sit down, and he goes, hey, Tay, so recent Duke graduate, he says, I want you to know, Spruce makes me feel more at home, because he's a new person in town, more at home than my home, than with my roommates, than with my work. I feel more welcome here than I do any place in this state. When I walk in, Zach knows my names, he knows that I like tennis, he knows my trips to France. So, interestingly enough, I started to feel a little bit guilty. And I was like, oh crap, this is like not at all what's supposed to be happening. No one's supposed to feel guilty because we're trying really hard to create a good experience. And he says, you know why? And I was like, why? Because I couldn't remember anybody else's names. He's like, so what I would do is I would come in, I'd sit down, and I'd listen to your team talking. And when someone would say someone else's name, I'd repeat it. All right, Zach. Until I memorized everybody's name. And then I read the piece that Denver Post wrote about you in Techstars in your platform. I'm like, And he said, I didn't realize all this technology that I was using also was giving you guys what you needed to prepare for my visit. And at first my feelings were hurt. Oh, this is just terrible. This is not at all where this is supposed to be going right now. He said, but then I thought about it. Recent Duke graduate, he says, when I'm in a class and there's an important topic, I take notes. When I need to recall something important, I pull up those notes. You're not using all this crazy technology because you don't care, you're using it because you do care. And I was like, yes! Can I use this in every talk I give forever? And he's like, absolutely, you can. And also, are you hiring? We weren't at the time, but we did get invited to CES. So let me tell you, if you're invited to CES and you do not have a product ready, don't go. Told 99 leads and a sale's not one. Oh, okay, so you guys, I'm assuming a lot of the coders in here. I'm assuming, it'd be kind of weird if there weren't. So here's something super interesting. Our work and our hobby, if you love coding, use all the same tools. So picture this, right? That for work you chop down trees, but you love doing things with the wood. So at home you're building a home, and people are like, dude, why are you going from work to work? He's like, no, you don't get it. I'm using the same tools, but it's not work. It's hobby, it's fun. I'm just really good at these tools. So this is a big one if you've got a significant other who's like, why are you working right now? I'm not working. This is my recharge. It looks like I'm working because I'm using a computer and the internet and a keyboard, but it's not work. So as a hobby project, Facebook Messenger had just come out. And I was like, oh, let's go let people book appointments with SpruceBot through Facebook Messenger. We were the first company on the planet to do it. In fact, one of our highest traffic sources on our website is from articles I've written about us building this. And we're a boutique for men. So I'm coding, my wife's like, so Tay, why are you working? I was like, oh, no, I'm not working. She's like, well, because if you're going to work, I got things for you to work on. Babe, this is just for fun. It's probably not going to go anywhere. I just need something to, we're Netflix and coding, we call it in our house. So there's chill also, but also code. Built it out. It ended up becoming our second biggest source of bookings. So after we started to collect data on it, my wife's like, hey, you know what, I'm really sorry about questioning Facebook Messenger. And I was like, why? It was a hobby project. I didn't defend it. I didn't say this is going to work or trust me. I just said, just let me do something that charges my battery. So this is how we built our booking system through the Facebook Messenger API. First company on the planet to do it. And then also everybody copied us, which is fantastic because I do it differently now. So.
Do you remember the old way? talking it, telling it, spelling it out. We block capitals, cardboard box, and a rap battling like dang, diggy, dang, 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 diggy, diggy, dang, diggy, dang, 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 diggy, diggy. Diggy, dang, diggy, dang, 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 diggy, diggy, dang. All the towns burning, churches with the roof off, searching for purchases. We play fighting goof off, streets ain't safe. Television talking trash, traveling, horseback collecting stars, fucking cash, pocket changes, rock and rages, seeking the heat. Straight bustling, hustling, freaking the beat. Sharks circling, working beats, buzzing like cell phones. Hell knows, yes, y'all at assholes and elbows. Customized hard rod, fire your shit face. Funny people, she got money, can't buy a good taste. Heads popping off, you're an orgasmatic.
Boom! 60 seconds, book an appointment while interrupting Spruce Spot while he's trying to tell you a joke. Here's what's cool. Finite state machine, if you don't know the concept, is pretty basic. It's just a thing that has state. Powers this entire conversation. I wrote a blog post on it called Using a Finite State Machine to Allow Booking an Appointment Through Facebook Messenger. We've recently closed sourced the code because we're jerks and profiteers. No, we closed sourced it because I don't know what I'm doing in a lot of things. I figure it's better to be safe and protect some of our IP. But I did write a blog post where I do show code samples. I talk about how I did it. Almost everything, in fact, that is being demoed here, there's a blog post about it on spruce.me. We should get that on our actual technology website, except we don't have a website really yet. Now, what's super creepy about this, I mean powerful, is that I can watch people having conversations with SpruceBot in this interface from the admin interface. So I can watch the conversations as they're happening. And so we were at Techstars program. I was down in the Starbucks near the Nicollet Mall, and I saw messages coming through, and somebody was talking to SpruceBot. But here's what we've learned. People have patience with people, kind of. People do not have patience with machines. You call into a bank, and it's like, dial this, hit that, dial that, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. People hate waiting for machines. So what we do is we say, we nail the happy path, we pass off to humans when you break from them. And so what happens is as soon as you break from anything you're trying to do here, SpruceBot will be like, yo, look. I'm a robot. I'm not that good at a lot of this stuff. I'm just learning. Do you want me to get a human for you? And you say yes or no. You say yes, sends a notification out to the team, someone can jump in and pick up the conversation. SpruceBot will pause and not respond for a little bit, and then you say like, hey SpruceBot, and he'll come back. And so I'm in the Starbucks down at Nicollet Mall, beneath the innovation headquarters of Target, and I see this conversation going, and this person's like, clearly, like, it's not going well. He's saying things, SpruceBot's like, I don't know what you're saying. He's sending pictures, SpruceBot's like, I don't know how to do with pictures, what is it? I'm trying to book you an appointment, bro. So I go, at the time I was Twittering, you've heard of that? And recent resurgence of Twitter, I feel. So I go onto Twitter, because I was tweeting at the time, and I said, that moment when you have to jump in because your robot can't do their job, # humans taking robot jobs. And then I go in and I answer, I'm like, hey man, like SpruceBot's not like meant for any of this stuff, can I help? He's like, no. I mean, I live in Canada and I'm just playing with your robot. So I went back onto Twitter and I went, that moment you think you're helping a human, but what you're really doing is interrupting a conversation they're having with your robot, # my robot's cooler than I am. Okay, this is just stupid fun. One of the things that we talk about a lot when we're building our company is scalability. You have scale, right? I think there's two parts of building a good product. First is making sure people want it. Then there's making sure you can scale. And so we're starting to see that companies want what we're offering. And a big component of the sales cycle, the sales process, is literally people flying from across the country to come to the shop to have a tour, this talk, but as a tour, I mean like this talk times 2, in the shop where we can point, and you can see, and you can touch, and you can try, you can observe. That's not scalable. We can't scale sales if I have to give a tour at the beginning of every sales cycle. It won't work. So we thought, okay, how do we scale this tour? So we thought, what if we use AR? Now remember when I kind of put AR in the same bucket as 3D movies. Really, really cool. Nobody likes it. Right, like nobody wants things on their head. Nobody likes holding up a phone for a significant amount of time. They show those videos Apple with the people on iPads. Like, no, this would be me. Steve Jobs always called it the hand above the heart. Don't make people put their hand above their heart. It's really hard. We're people. We're lazy. Don't do it. Well, we thought this is actually potentially a great use case for AR. So picture this, someone comes in, joins the Wi-Fi, gets kicked a link to download the app that goes into a tour of the shop. Sweet. So that's about as far as we got. Capacity, but what we, so the idea, as if the point comes where we have to execute on it, will be that we're going to go to some 3D online library. We're going to get what we're going to call hologram pucks. We're going to place them around all the technology, and then I googled After Effects Princess Leia R2-D2 hologram effect, so you know where I'm going. And so what we want to do is when you're getting this tour, have the hologram pop up, full episode 4 or 1 style. Let's see. And then we can scale the tour. So unfortunately, at the time this was built, the ability to be very precise in your placement in a 3D world wasn't there. Now we have like shared 3D space technology that that Apple and other people are coming into. And so what's cool about that video, I downloaded Unity 3D, I googled AR demo, we took some video that this guy filmed for me behind a green screen, brought in After Effects, set a transparent background, dropped it into Unity. The whole thing took like half a day. So like, this stuff is out there, and Unity used to be JavaScript, and I think it's now just C#. So, I have no idea what this video is. Oh no, I can't show that one. That's all. Yeah, I literally cannot show that one. My bad. Are there any questions? Any ideas? Anybody want to come code on Christmas lights that dance to music? No? Yes! Oh, you want to? Oh yeah, cool. Wait for me after the show, or the talk, or whatever this is. Any questions, any ideas? Anybody want to get a little bit deeper into any of the things that we've built? Surely. Yes?
So you've got a retail store, so you just take these ideas from the retail store and basically make it a product. So retail's like,
What's our play?
Haircuts and shirts.
I'm not.
You're not.
So the question was, what's the effing plan? You've got a store, you got some technology, what are you doing? I don't know exactly what we're doing, but I got an idea. So what we've done is we've taken bit by bit every piece of this technology, prioritized by market demand, defined by just whoever's asked us for it, who's got money, and then began productizing it. Bit by bit by bit. And here's what's really interesting is, instead of just taking the pieces of this and building app after app, decided to build a platform focused on proximity, sensitive, and time awareness to create experiences, to help humans create experiences. And we do it in very subtle ways. Like, there are things a machine can do better than a human. We get this, right? Crunching numbers, calculating trajectories. There are things humans can do better than machines. Brian, you logged into Netflix. It said, welcome back, Brian. You never went, oh my God, Netflix. Oh, well, you know me. But a human being, you walk into Spruce and I say, what's up, Brian? How's it going? How's your coding going? You're going to go, holy crap, this place knows me. So we're, by taking this technology, building a platform, and then focusing the technology, the real-time notifications, the proximity detection on feeding data to people, right? Feeding data to machines is all the rage, but you feed it to people and allow those people to react, it creates an amazing opportunity. In fact, probably one of the few ways retail is going to survive as e-commerce really picks up. Because no matter how many times you log into Amazon, it says welcome back first name, you are never gonna feel special. So we've broken out significant pieces of this into a modular, very modular, distributed, discrete messaging platform. It's all real time, it's super awesome, I can say that because I'm biased and helped build it. And we've got one client right now that's paying. It's Ulta Beauty. We're in a store in Chicago. It's really hard, but it's going well enough that we're going to get this out to the broader market first quarter of next year. Is our hope.
sounds like a lot of the start with you, basically running other people over time. What does your team look like outside the ball?
Yeah, so the setup to the question was, sounds like a lot of solo or 1 or 2 person effort. How did your team transform over time? And that's an awesome question. So it started off myself full-time, or full-time for an engineer is 40 hours between your 40-hour job. So it started out with me full-time building with support from a friend of mine in Michigan who helps with a lot of stuff. I say if I were a NASCAR driver, he's the entire pit crew, hence his title, head of pit crew. And so it started off, he and I, we get into Techstars. We were the smallest team ever to go to Techstars. It was me most of the time by myself. My wife came in out, and then Kyle joined us for the second quarter of it. After that, we went to, we built a platform, and our goal was find cost to customer acquisition, find the lifetime value of a guest or a client, put it in a spreadsheet and go, look at that hockey stick, and then to take that to investors and be like, hey, look, we drew hockey sticks. And what ended up happening just after we got the platform built is a gentleman named John Nordmark called. He runs he was a founder of eBags. If you've seen the eBags building we drive by, he's not there, he's on the board now. And he calls me and he's like, hey Tay, I'm representing this client. It ends up being Ulta, and he's like, Ulta Beauty, and I'm like, Aldo? Ultra? Who? So for about 3 days, I had no idea who we were about to meet, and of course my wife's like, how do you not know Ulta? I'm like, I don't know. Like, you don't know Adafruit. So he says, look, they're looking for a booking system, and they really think yours is going to work great. And I was like, awesome. I just gone to Techstars, so I knew I'm ready for this stuff now. Because Techstars is actually an MBA program. It's not about the tech. They expect that you're going to build your tech, and that you know how to build tech. They expect that you don't know how to run a business. So you spend the entire time getting business lessons. And one of them is the elevator pitch, right? The whys, the hows, and the whats. And so I'm on the phone. He says, they want your booking. I think they're going to want your booking system. I was like, that's cool, because I think they're going to want our entire guest experience platform. And he goes, whoa. So we get on a call with them. Now check this out. At the time, we don't have an office. So I'm on a call, myself, a co-founder, in the basement of my wife's boutique. The barber side has a shop vac for when they're sweeping up hair, and there's a little pedal that they hit and sweep the hair down. So before with the SVPs and VPs of innovation and their director of IT, I say, okay guys, if it sounds like there's a jumbo jet taking off, it's the shop vac, because I'm in the basement of my wife's shop. I apologize now. They're like, don't sweat it. So I go, I start demoing everything. They go, they're loving it, but I got a warning before going into the meeting, and you'll probably understand why. The warning was this: hey Tay, these are very nice Midwestern folk. Watch your fucking language. I slipped once, and it was funny because I was demoing how everything worked. We have a Give 5, Get 5, the idea sparked by the guy who was the director of LinkedIn marketing at the time that we met at TechWit. Some amazing. The lesson at Techstars was not only learn how to run a damn business, it's about who you know. And so we built this Give 5, Get 5, and what's cool is there's a little text box with a link, and you tap in it, and I found a way on iOS to get it to select the whole text and pop up the menu, so you just hit copy. Instead of having to do that double tap, triple tap, drag, select nightmare that usually happens on text feeds. So I was demoing it, and I was like, and look, all you have to do is tap, and then hit copy, none of that two-tap bullshit. I am so sorry. I am very sorry. And they're like, no. Keep going. Okay, so afterwards, in 9 months of negotiation later, we ended up in an amazing relationship with an amazing retailer, and that probably means my time's up. I don't want to get any more questions. Oh, we're good? We're good? So it started off, me and my wife, then we start to bring in people, we go through Techstars, we try to build a team. It actually doesn't go well. And ended up acquiring a company, the one that Carolyn worked for, to make this happen, because it turns out what I thought I was agreeing to in this relationship with them is building software. It wasn't. What I was agreeing to was building software while building a company. That's really hard. So now the team's about 12 to 20, depends on, we got a lot of contractors helping us out on a lot of different things, and we're based on Curtis Street right now, and we've got a new office space. We call it our MVO, Minimum Viable Office. It's got nice new floor, but no trim and things scraping and ceiling panels out. It's pretty startup-esque, if you will. And so now, I say we're a fully functioning rocket ship. She agrees, that means it's true. Yeah, that's an awesome question.
Where is your boutique?
44th and Tennyson. Yeah, you definitely, I used to be there on Fridays and give tours, but if you could find a way to get my email, we can do a group tour, that'd be fun too. Because again, it's like twice as long as this with all, when I say we have more Raspberry Pis than a bakery, and that's mostly because it would be a weird balance of pie flavors if there were this many Raspberry Pis in one bakery. But we've got we've maybe got a computer for every 50 feet in there, powering up everything. I saw a question, a hand shoot up, yeah. So the question is, what is my favorite part of this? I'm going to start off by saying not the dressing with party mode. Start right there. I think the best part is actually the proximity detection. So one day I knew that a big piece of greeting people, I say the lessons that I learned, the biggest lessons that I learned weren't the day that we opened. They were even the day that someone would come in.